Any last words?
How's your sister?
Forsaken is the third expansion to Bungie's online science fiction shooter, Destiny 2. Taking the series' narrative down a darker path by killing fan-favorite character Cade 6, the story campaign features a Western-themed quest for revenge against those who murdered our favorite gunslinger. Aside from introducing a fantastic enemy faction and beautiful locales, the expansion particularly stands out through how it delivers its narrative themes of moral ambiguity through gameplay interactions. By combining enjoyable combat encounters with thought-provoking dialogue, and a new competitive mode that encourages working against fellow Guardians, Forsaken creates an interactive storytelling experience that uses its gameplay to blur the lines between good and evil, painting Destiny's world into a new shade of grey. In Destiny 2, we control a Guardian, a resurrected warrior wielding mystical powers of light in defense of humanity. After defeating space turtles that like marbles, brass robots that worship calculus, and ancient orbs that eat computers, it seems like nothing is capable of stopping you. This confidence is evident as we swagger in from orbit alongside Cade 6, a fellow Guardian and mentor. The two of us have been called to the Prison of Elders, the solar system's largest maximum security facility, to quell a violent riot, or as Cade calls it,
Just another day at the office.
All right, partner, this is a Cade riff in 6. Watch me for the changes and try to keep up. Now let's go to prison! Ha. Got you! Got you!
Forsaken's opening mission, Last Call, is a masterclass in setting the stakes and tone for the rest of the expansion, and also serves as a final perfect send-off for Cade. Even the player is unfamiliar with him, it doesn't take long to fall in love with his charming personality as he quips over the radio.
Always a good time out in the rain.
Backed by an uplifting, triumphant soundtrack as you advance through the prison and gun down enemies with ease, the mission's early segment feels like business as usual. You'll wield the light, extinguish the darkness, and go home after achieving a well-earned victory. That's how things have worked until now, and that's how things will work until the end. As you and Cade move into the main corridor, he'll toss various comments your way depending on how you take down enemies.
Boom! Headshot! I can't believe what I'm seeing! How's my shacks? Buddy, you sure know how to put on a show.
These comments are a great way to integrate storytelling into gameplay as they reinforce the sense that you have a personal relationship with Cade, and that he's a mentor who cares for and watches over you. After the two of you reactivate Central Security, it seems like it's time to wrap things up and call it a day.
Coming home, Ace.
Something's wrong. Cade isn't responding over comms. Security seems to have been knocked offline. And it looks like something is on the loose. Last Call's second half takes on a drastically different tone as you are introduced to a new enemy faction, the Score. Headless Ravagers swinging burning lanterns, horribly deformed Screebs that screech as they fling themselves at you, cunning raiders that can shift into a ghostly mist, and enormous abominations of mutated flesh. Fallen corpses brought back to life and horribly disfigured by a twisted, cursed power. As you delve deeper into the prison, you become the hunted, as the Scorn relentlessly assault you through burning chambers and claustrophobic hallways. and to make things worse,
No. Cade's ghost. She's dead. Without his ghost, Cade dies. We've got to find him.
Cade's life, his final fragile life, is now on the line. So fight your way through the sea of scorn, because maybe there's still time to save him.
He didn't feel a thing.
It's too late. Cade's killers, the Awoken Prince Aldrin Sov and the 8 Scorn Barons, have escaped. The remaining denizens of the Prison of Elders are loose, wreaking havoc throughout the solar system. Today, humanity lost, and the darkness won. By juxtaposing the feel of a triumphant shootout with the sense of being hunted, Last Call sets the tone and stakes for the rest of the expansion. A grim sorrow and a painful loss that won't be forgotten anytime soon.
Intel, Zavala, and Ikora. The Vanguard. This is the best bet I ever lost.
Welcome to the Tangled Shore, a lawless frontier where Cade's murderers are rumored to be hiding. It's impossible to know where Aldrin is for now, but his 8 Scorn Barons are busy wreaking havoc, so hunt them down, one by one, until the Awoken Prince ends up at your feet. Better get to hunting. Each Baron's boss encounter is very enjoyable thanks to well-designed mechanics or creative use of gameplay. The Rider engages you in a thrilling mounted duel through a toxic valley. The Mad Bomber has you scrambling as you frantically try and dismantle mines he's left behind. The Hangman is a sadistic brute who wields a burning flail in a cramped space, providing a heated, wild, and exciting close-quarters melee. The Trickster deceives not only the Guardian, but the player themselves by rigging loot, treasure chests, materials, and ammo pickups with explosives. The Mindbender has both Hive and Scorn lackeys at his disposal, and can draw upon strength in an alternate plane of reality he's created. The Rifleman hides himself using holographic decoys, requiring quick and careful counter-sniping to shoot him down. And the Machinist sits atop a pile of hoarded technology, including a heavy tank, and is able to use ordnance to rain explosives from the sky. You'll have to fight hard and fast for your vengeance and the chance to kill Aldrin, but at least you'll be able to enjoy yourself while doing so. Now that 7 of the 8 Barons are dead, their leader and Aldrin are the only ones left. But before you go to finish the job, how about taking a break? Putting that bad side of yours to good use. Take a minute to go let loose some steam in the hybrid competitive game mode, Gambit.
Enough fooling around. Hive, bring a sword.
Gambit is a hybrid PvE and PvP game mode introduced alongside Forsaken, in which Guardians actively seek to disrupt each other and wield the powers of darkness. 2 teams of 4 Guardians operate on separate versions of the same map and primarily fight against mob opponents. These enemies drop objects called motes when they are killed, and these motes can be picked up and deposited at a bank in the middle of the map. Depositing motes advances your team's progress towards summoning a powerful boss enemy, and once you defeat that boss, you win the match. You can actively hamper the enemy team's progress to summoning by depositing motes, which sends a blocker to the other side. Blockers are powerful mobs that prevent the enemy from banking motes until they're eliminated. Additionally, a portal on the map will activate as more motes are deposited. You can step through the portal and drop into the enemy team's map as an invader, hunting down enemy players and causing them to lose any motes they're holding onto. Invaders are perceived as friendly by mob opponents and are able to track the enemy team through walls, just like a hungry predator chasing their prey. By allowing you to hamper the opposing team's progress and ruthlessly hunt them down, Gambit encourages players to unleash their aggression against fellow Guardians, allowing them to embrace their dark sides and casting the heroes of humanity in a grimmer light.
Go. Inspire.
and avenge your murdered friends.
It's time to finish this. For Cade. Aldrin is finally making his move, ascending an ancient watchtower said to house key secrets that cannot be released. As you reach the foot of the watchtower, the last scorned Baron, the Fanatic, emerges and unleashes his rage.
You enjoyed killing them. Enjoyed putting them in dirt where you belong.
Enjoyed? No, we didn't enjoy killing the Barons. We killed the Barons out of rage, hatred, and sorrow. We killed the Barons because they murdered Cade, not because it brought us joy. Wait. We did enjoy it. We did enjoy it. Killing the Barons was fun. Maybe not exactly to our Guardian, but to the player, they were entertaining and engaging combat experiences. We might not have had a psychopathic grin on our face as we pulled the trigger, but it's hard to argue that we didn't derive at least a little bit of pleasure or satisfaction while taking down each Baron.
I will pay any price to be there when you die.
The Fanatic and the Guardian are just two sides of the same coin, pursuing vengeance out of anger and sorrow, aiming to kill the killer of those they cared about. Neither are of greater morality, and both are cold-blooded murderers lusting after vengeance. Ultimately, your will proved stronger than that of the Fanatic, but his defeat doesn't feel like a victory. Instead, it feels like we lost something deep within, the certainty that we are truly fighting towards a just cause.
The scorn are forever.
As you ascend the watchtower, it becomes apparent that some sort of corruption is festering at its core. The line between dimensional planes is thin, and you briefly pass through the ascendant plane, a reality linked to the darkness. Voices drift on the wind. Aldrin, and one other.
Free me, O brother mine.
No, 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 no! Something's wrong!
Instead of Aldrin, a monstrous chimera awaits us at the top of the tower. But our target is still alive, judging by his screams. Which means he's still ours to kill. So let's cut down this monster quickly, and finally have our sweet revenge. During the battle, the chimera will occasionally pull you into the ascendant plane, ripping you between the worlds of light and dark. And only through tremendous effort does the Guardian finally emerge victorious. At last, Aldrin is ours. But it seems there is more to this story. It's evident that he isn't entirely sane. Someone, or something, manipulated him into raising the scorn and releasing the chimera from the watchtower, feeding him dark whispers and tricking him into carrying out a terrible deed. But none of that matters. He murdered Cade, and it is time for him to face judgment. He leaves us one last question as he stares down the barrel of our gun.
Funny. The line between light and dark is so very thin. Do you know which side you're on?
The screen cuts away as the gunshot rings, leaving the question of who killed Aldrin up in the air, along with our Guardian's morality. We pursued a vendetta, drenched ourselves in blood, and tapped into an inner darkness. No longer a hero, now always an executioner. So tell me, was it worth it? O murderer mine? The ramifications of Forsaken's story are still unfolding in Destiny 2 today, as Guardians draw dangerously close to the darkness in Shadowkeep and even begin wielding its powers in Beyond Light. A single expansion used the plot and gameplay interactions of its campaign to turn Destiny's narrative completely on its head, taking a story that previously viewed good and evil like black and white, and melding both sides into a confusing, obscure gray universe where nothing is right and everything is wrong. The new hybrid game mode, Gambit, assisted in this shift as Guardians began engaging in illicit activities and hampering each other's progress, embracing their dark side for personal gain at the cost of others' betterment. As dark forces draw near and Destiny moves on to future battles, Forsaken will always stand out as an expansion that used its gameplay to tell its story, unleashing the player on a bloody campaign of destruction and ultimately forcing them to question their justice of their actions.